I'm Robert Foldrum, and welcome to today's devotional. We're going to be in Psalm 23:1 today, and then we're going to go over to the New Testament and check out a few verses there that tie in. Now, most people are familiar with 23rd Psalm, verse 1, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." But I'm going to read this one today from the Passion Translation, and it says, "Yahweh is my best friend and my shepherd. I always have more than enough." So let's go over to the New Testament now, to Mark chapter 6, the story where Jesus feeds the 5,000. Mark 6, verses 30 through 44, we find out that Jesus wants to feed the people there, and he asks, "What do you have?" They say, 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish. Jesus blesses it, sends it out. The people eat. The disciples pick up 12 baskets full of leftovers. Now, after that, we have a few events that take place, and we get into Mark 8, verses 1 through 10, and this is where Jesus feeds the 4,000. And so again, it's 4,000 men, does not include the number of women and children within this count. And Jesus says, "I want to feed the people," and asks, "What do you have?" So they come back and they say, "Well, we have 7 loaves of bread." Now later, they find they've got a few small fish, and that's the way it's worded, a few small fish. So we don't even know how many, we just know they're small. But again, Jesus blesses it, sends the food out, everyone's fed. The disciples pick up 7 large baskets of leftovers this time. So now when they get through with this event, they get in the boat, they go off, and we have a little interlude here with Pharisees who demand a sign from Jesus, a miraculous sign. Now this is important for what's going to be coming next, because just after he finishes that, they're in the boat, they're leaving that location to go somewhere else, and this is what we're going to pick up. Mark 8, 14 through 21, and again I'm going to read this from the Passion Translation. "Now, the disciples had forgotten to take bread with them, except for 1 loaf of flat bread. And as they were sailing across the lake, Jesus repeatedly warned them, 'Be on your guard against the yeast inside of the Pharisees and the yeast inside of Herod.' But the disciples had no clue what Jesus was talking about. So they began to discuss it among themselves, saying, 'Is he saying this because we forgot to bring bread?' Well, knowing what they were thinking, Jesus said to them, 'Why all this fussing over forgetting to bring bread? Do you still not see or understand what I say to you? Are your hearts still hard? You have good eyes, yet you still don't see. You have good ears, yet you still don't hear. Neither do you remember. When I multiplied the bread to feed more than 5,000 people, how many baskets full of leftovers did you gather afterward?' 12, they replied, and I'll bet it was rather sheepishly. And when I multiplied food to feed over 4,000, how many large baskets of, how many large baskets full of leftovers did you gather afterwards?' 7, they replied. Then how is it that you still don't get it?" Let's go back to verse 18. And I want to say that this one speaks to me just as much as it speaks to anyone else. When Jesus asks, or he actually states, he doesn't ask, he states, "You have good eyes, yet you still don't see. You have good ears, yet you still don't hear. Neither do you remember." He just fed 5,000, and there was more than enough. There were leftovers. He just fed 4,000. There was more than enough. There were leftovers. So again, Psalms 23:1, "Yahweh is my best friend and my shepherd. I always have more than enough. Thank you for joining us today on this devotional. If you would, please like the video and comment below your thoughts on what was discussed. What is Holy Spirit saying to you? And tell us also other things that you would like to hear through a devotional. We're trying to keep these 2 to 3 minutes long and no longer than that. So if you would, please let us know in your comments below. And also subscribe if you've not done so. And check back tomorrow because we'll have more.